The ones that are successful in Jamboree are the ones who have the fundamentals and the techniques down, and then they can really start to grow their playbook at that point. Because if you build the foundation first, you're going to be successful whatever you want to stack on top of that. But if you can't take a snap or do the basic fundamentals and techniques, none of those things are going to work for you. You can rag on the new stuff, you can rag on the old stuff, but none of it matters if you can't even take a snap. Coaches, fix it. All right, Empire family, we're going to go over real quick some fundamentals and techniques that you must know before you get into the Jamboree. All right, this is one of my biggest pet peeves going to Jamboree. I don't think anybody should have this particular problem, and that's the center quarterback snap exchange, right? We shouldn't be fumbling the snap. It's like one of the first things we need to do. We don't even have an offensive play without that center QB snap actually being successful. So I'll go over a few tips, and we're actually going to go over some old film, and I'll point out some very easy coaching tips where everyone will be able to kind of coach up the quarterbacks in particular on this. Now, we all assume that the center, at the very least, should be able to get in a decent stance, and we'll see some stances that aren't too great, but, you know, snap and turn that ball and get it to the quarterback in a quick, effective manner. But a lot of times the fumbled snaps is not due to the center. It's actually very much, and what I see on film and what I see from film from old Jamboree stuff, is it's the quarterback's fault. And coaches, it's on you to correct this as they happen, right? And really, you have to get this done in practice, right? You can get, you know, a lot of reps and center QB exchanges done while doing get-offs throughout all of practice, and you should never let these things go. You should never just let plays go or say, hey, do it again, without knowing exactly what went wrong with that actual snap. You need to slow down, take a step back, really look and focus, okay, what's going wrong with the snap? And I'll go over a few of those today. So one of the things we're going to look at here, and like I said, this is not a dig at the kids at all. This is 100% on the coaches for everything you guys are going to see in this film. So if you're on this film, Kid Center, don't worry about it. QB centers, I'll give you some tips. You guys can correct them yourselves, but for the coaches, this is on you 100%. All right, first snap here. First thing right off the bat, that top hand is not at the bottom end of the center, right? So that top hand has to lift the center just a little bit, and it really should be underneath, right, where that curve meets with the buttocks there, and it raises the bottom part of that tailbone, right? That way, the center knows that the quarterback is actually there ready to take a snap, that it's not a shotgun snap, and now he's not guessing at where his hands are at, right? So he's got to put some pressure and lift that butt up just a little bit. And we can see here in this video, this quarterback's not doing that. He's just kind of putting his hands somewhere underneath, and now the center has to guess, right? He can't just look between his legs the whole time and think, oh, I guess right every single time, right? Some of these end up not great. Some of these end up tragic, right? But we'll see as we go forward that if you don't correct it, it will eventually end up tragic. So here we go. Snap, hands also apart, right? So we want to make sure that that thumb hits that groove right there on the bottom hand too. And we want to make sure those palms at the very least are together. Now, you know, some techniques maybe teach it a little bit different, right? Whether it's throwing hand on top or the other way around. But for the most part, I like the throwing hand on top, and we slide that thumb right into the groove, and that makes sure everything we can get a good snap, and that ball doesn't come right through when the hands are apart, right? And right here, we got, like I said, two things going wrong. His top hand isn't lifting the center, and his hands are apart. And you can see a little bit of tough, a lot of flex in that hand. The ball shouldn't move like that. It should slap against the top of that hand. And if it's underneath the center, that hand's not going to go anywhere. That allows the center to snap it with lightning quick speed and stick that top hand. That way the quarterback can grab and go very quickly out from under center, right? So not too tragic there, but watch. Very shortly later, you see here, same problem. Hands not lifting the center. Got a gap in the hands too as well. We'll see what happens here. Now we got it hitting the bottom hand. So center is just guessing at this point, right? So he's going to snap. It's a little bit slow, right? Because he is guessing. His eyes are just down. He can't even see the block because he's uncertain of, is the quarterback even there, right? So he's just going to snap, and I'm guessing he's just hearing the snap count. So hits the bottom hand, very slow to get out from under center. Same thing here with this quarterback. Not a whole lot of pressure. The gap is a little bit closer to the center, but not a whole lot of top hand pressure. And I think the center is going to guess here too as well, maybe hit the bottom hand. Oh, so one of the things that we see here is the quarterback, as he's going to take the snap, the hands come apart, right? And that can't happen because as soon as those hands come apart, the ball has now space to get through the hands. And that's what we see here, right? Center's just guessing at this point, right? And a lot of coaches will go right at the center when this is actually the quarterback's fault here. He can't have those hands apart. So we'll see it in fast motion here. Man, hits the ground. Let's see what happens. This is one of the very next plays. Again, hands are starting to come apart here, right? They're starting to come apart. Not really a whole lot of top hand pressure. We'll see if the center guesses again. Hits the bottom hand, but you notice this time the center actually compensates for the quarterback. He can't feel the quarterback's hands, so he just kind of sticks the hand out there, holds on to the ball, and at this point, he should be letting go. He should be slapping that top hand fast and getting to his block. But he holds on to it and waits for the quarterback to actually grab the ball from him. And that takes forever between the center and quarterback. As the season goes along, if you're not getting out from under center, you're just going to get crushed in the backfield almost every play. All right, next play here. Again, see, we see the quarterback. Right as soon as the ball is about to snap, you'll see those hands come apart. Watch. There it is. Oh, so this kid probably has this habit built up quite a bit, and he's probably gotten away with it for so long that he's actually gotten a little bit good at it. I think the only saving grace here is this center is actually hitting the top hand. Very dangerous. Flirting with disaster on that stuff. All right, so now we got another quarterback here. And the first thing, just looking from the first frame here, is the quarterback is far away. It's just way far away. He should have his elbows bent, getting up underneath the center. If he's reaching all the way out, what happens is you have no shock absorber at this point, right? So if you're not all the way under center, there's two things that might happen. One is that you're just too rigid, and as the center takes a step left, right to make a block, your hands can't follow that bottom part of the tailbone. And after a second look here, his hands probably aren't even all the way under center. So this means the center might have to reach far, way back to try to get him the ball. Let's see what the center does here. Snap. Okay, great job by the center. So as he's snapping, he's taking a step, which is great job by the center. He's probably played center for more than just 1 year here, or he's got a great coach. And you see as he steps away and he shoots out, right? The quarterback is now trying to follow. He can't follow him because he's all the way stretched out. Unless he's following the center upfield, he's not getting that snap. Yep, and he didn't get the snap. See him fast motion here. Yep. And if you're coaches, if parents too, hold these coaches accountable at this point, because now you know this is how you fix this problem. He's got to get up under center, right? He's have to bend his arms, take his feet, get a little bit closer to that center, and he's got to get underneath. We'll watch it in slow motion here. Snap, hands are apart a little bit. You can kind of tell he's just not far enough under center, and he has trouble holding on to it. This is plays after. Coaches still haven't corrected this, and his hands are just not far enough under center. They're just not far enough under center, and it might happen again here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so yes, still not all the way under center, but watch right as the snap happens, his hands come apart. And like I said, what happens when your hands come apart? Ball comes shooting right through. And here comes the snap. And there's the open hands, squirts right through, fumbles it around. Now he's got to dive on it. Oh, frustrating. So frustrating. Come on, coaches. Got to coach this up. Let's see. Oh, and here's another thing, too. Instead of coaching the kid up during Jamboree, which is what the Jamboree is for, right? For all the coaches that are going out there and trying to win the Jamboree, okay, I don't get it. I don't get coaches who try to do a double reverse pass in the Jamboree. No one wins in the Jamboree. No one keeps score. Like, I get it. You know how you're going to match up well against other teams, but you have no idea if they're doing backups, if they're playing people out of position or anything like that, or even if they're showing you real offensive and defensive sets, right? So in this case right here to the left of the screen, they switch quarterbacks, right? He's got a little bit better of a stance. He's a little bit further under center. Let's see if he's fixed the problem here. Nope. Immediately. Hands come right open as the snap's about to come in. Oh, and a rough handle of the ball, but like I said, it kind of hits the top hand, but he's having trouble getting to it, and now he's got to rush out from under center and hopefully catch up with the rest of the play. Let's see if he kind of does it again. He's got left hand on top here. Oh, So he is sticking the top hand. So this is all the center saving the quarterback at this point, right? So the center is sticking that top hand, which he's still kind of reaching to try to get it to him. And the quarterback is like kind of trying to alligator clamp the ball. And you can see he's bobbling the ball around. And he's just having trouble handling it and getting it. And he's rushing it to that running back. He's just rushing the handoff at this point. All right, so let's take a peek at this quarterback. This quarterback looks like he's well under center, right? He's going to have to watch his feet, especially if you have an offensive formation where everyone's like foot-to-foot splits. You got to make sure as quarterbacks that you don't get your own foot stepped on trying to get out from under center, especially if your linemen are getting blown up, right? So let's see what happens here. Quarterback deep under center. Tight snap. Oh, okay. So I can tell. Look at that bottom left hand, right? All the way down. He is so far down low. Chances are he doesn't have any top hand pressure. Let's see what kind of problems he runs into. Reaches down. Little bit of a bobble. Finally gets a handle. Still really doesn't even have the ball. And he's just like, here, you take it. Hot potato, right? All starts with the snap, guys. All starts with the snap. All right. Next one here. Looks like we're back to the original quarterback that I had pointed out earlier. Still not far all the way in the center. Other quarterback might have been doing an okay job. They try to throw this kid back in. They still haven't coached him up. There's plenty of coaches on the sideline during Jamboree, right? These are basic fundamentals. You don't have to be a quarterback coach to coach up these points, right? You got to correct this stuff right when you see it, and it needs to happen in practice. A little bit of a offsides. That's Jamboree. We see that a lot. Yeah, he's just not far enough under center. Let's see how far this center reaches to get on the ball. Yeah, so this center has played before, and he's really overcompensating. Because when he snaps, look how far back he has to reach to get it to him. And those hands come apart. Little bit of a bobble, but now he gets it away to the running back. All right, now let's take another quarterback. Again, looks like the same issue here. He's set up so far away that his hands aren't under the center, actually. So no top hand pressure. Center's guessing at this point. And we get a snap. It comes up, hits that top hand. But since he isn't far enough underhand, when he hits that top hand, there should be no movement on this top hand if he's far enough underneath. So when he hits that top hand, it shouldn't move. If it moves, you're going to have a fumble on your hands. And now he bobbles it. Now he gets it away to the running back. Frustrating. This stuff's got to be done before Jamboree, coaches. What are we doing out there, right? Running a bunch of laps, trying to get them in shape. These kids go crazy every single day. They have tons of energy, right? Conditioning shouldn't be that high on the priority list. It really shouldn't, because if you're just conditioning hours and hours every single practice, that's a waste of time coaching the basic techniques that'll actually make you successful. And I don't understand when coaches, they see these problems happen, they send them for more laps like it's the kid's fault. They don't know how to do this stuff. You have to teach them, especially at the younger ages. So we have an interesting center snap here. So he's grabbing the top of the ball, which is not totally unheard of. It is kind of strange for an under center snap. Usually when you see them grab the top of the ball, there's a flip, but it's usually used for a shotgun snap. So we'll see how this works out. Okay, he kind of snapped it. Now he's going to snap it the rest of the way. That was really strange. Quarterback doesn't look he's quite under center all the way. He's got a staggered stance. Stagger meaning his feet are at different levels, right? You have basically a square stance, and you'll have a staggered stance, right? And he looks like he's got his right foot up here. There's the snap. Puts the ball back down. Get another snap. Little bit of a bobble. Now he's going to go hand to the quarterback. Let's see how he does this time. Okay, here's a much better angle. So this quarterback, again, not reaching really, like he's too far out, doesn't have that flex in his elbows that he needs. So he needs to move his feet, get a little bit closer to the center here, allow for some of that shock absorb, and be able to follow the center to his block if he has to. If the center's got a good get off, going left, right, or just straight up, trying to get to a backer, he's going to leave that ball behind because the quarterback's not going to have his hands far enough underneath. Oh, interesting. Check out the quarterback's hands. He actually doesn't have his hands. He has his hands turned like this for a shotgun snap. Usually I see quarterbacks and stuff, they'll have their hands flat like this, ready for a shotgun snap. So it looks like they're teaching shotgun snap fundamentals for under center. That's really strange. So his hands are like this. So it's going to hit one of the top two hands, but there's nothing to actually trap the ball to collapse, to actually capture it and get out from under center. And you could tell because his hands are so small, can't grab the ball, he's really struggling to clamp down in order to get it. Poor quarterback. That's just being taught incorrect. I don't know how else to put it. That's incorrect. He's having a tough go at it. All right, another quarterback here. All right, let's see. All right, already when he's turning left to right, he's checking to see, hey, are we set? Are we ready to go? Let's see if he actually gets his hands underneath and gets that top hand pressure here. Nah, not a lot of good top hand pressure here. And you can tell there's not a lot of top hand pressure. I know the center is just stuck there, and it looks like this is the center's fault, but the center is guessing. So when he just snaps it, he has to wait for that quarterback to pull it out, right? Instead of just snapping to one spot at the bottom of his tailbone every time and just going lightning speed with it and pinning that top hand, he's going to wait until the quarterback takes it, and then he can't be an effective blocker at that point. Yeah, no top hand pressure. Slow play, slow handoff, slow get-offs for the center. And the thing is here is watch the rest of this play. They're probably not going to look back and coach the little things that they could get better on, because he breaks one tackle there, gets to the outside, and all of a sudden this is a great play. We don't need to fix anything, right? But this is the kind of stuff where teams start off hot in the beginning of the year, and then they end up just crumbling halfway through the year because they actually never develop the kids. And these kinds of things don't work halfway or even later into the year. All right, back to, I think these are the Manteca Chargers here. Looks like we have a little bit of different quarterback, maybe at a different level. Still no top hand pressure. You can see how the hands are pointed down, right? He's got to actually lift that center. We'll see what happens here. Hands kind of come apart there. The center doesn't really get a good turn on this, and his head is still down. His eyes need to be up the whole time. So again, that tells me when a center is eyes are down, he's actually guessing and really worried about the snap, right? If those hands are actually lifting his butt, center knows he's there, right? Snap that ball, get your eyes up, let's get down, let's get dirty. All right, we'll see it again. Let's see if they fixed it. Still not a whole lot of top hand pressure. Oop, a little bit of a cardinal sin there. The hands start to come apart right as soon as the snap comes, and you can see that ball wiggle its way through, and now it's in his gut, and he's going to fumble around and maybe try to get it to the halfback, but it's uncomfortable for the quarterback. He starts to panic, right? Good stiff arm. All right, here we go. And now we got another quarterback here. Checks. No top hand pressure here. Not lifting the center. Not giving the center a target here. Let's see what happens. Hits a little bit of the bottom hand. We'll go slow motion with it. Dude, his hands are almost in the dirt. It needs to lift the tailbone. He's got like a whole nother 1.5 foot to go. What are we doing? Hits kind of the top hand. His hand's a little twisted for whatever reason. He's not keeping that good, like I said, palm to palm right there in that groove and just kind of holding tight. And he's lucky to hold on to that ball. Now, whatever the rest of this play is, maybe that's okay. Maybe coaches overlook it. But, you know, as a position coach, if you're quarterback or even if you're a centers coach, you need to point out these things right as soon as they happen, especially in the Jamboree, because a lot of times you're like right behind the formation. You can see these things going on. And here's another good example that I know the kid just hasn't spent enough time or actually wasn't taught the basic fundamentals before Jamboree. We got a whole month. We got a whole month to teach this stuff. You could spend at least part of one practice going over these fundamentals with whoever's going to be taking snaps. From the first string to the fourth string, whatever you got, whoever's got to make the cut for the quarterback position, you have to at least teach them how to take a snap first and foremost. Man, he's got no top hand pressure. Hands are together at least a little bit here. But again, center's just guessing. Hitting that bottom hand. And it takes a lot of time to grab that ball and get it back to the running backs. It just takes a long time. And you know what? It might have worked. This snap might have gone on. He might have gotten a handle on all these snaps for 2, 3, 4 times in a row. Eventually, this is going to be a fumble. Okay, there we go. Here's the fumble, ladies and gentlemen. Center is going to snap it real fast. Tries to hit that top hand. right? Because he's just kind of guessing. He's reaching far back there to try to get it to him, and it hits his fingertips because he's not far enough underneath. Center's just guessing. No top hand pressure. We'll go a little bit slow motion here. We'll see it. Just guessing. Oh, see, eventually it was going to happen, right? Frustrating. Again, this is plays after that happened. Still no correction. Snap. Still guessing. Oh, look, another fumble, right? This is going to keep happening until the coaches correct it, right? And this isn't a case of, oh, just take a couple more practice snaps. No, this is correct the technique, coaches. Got to correct the technique. All right, back to the little guy at quarterback here. I can already tell he's unsure. Watch this. See how that helmet dips down? For you kids that watch a lot of film, a lot of times you can tell when the quarterback's actually going to snap the ball is right as soon as he's about to snap it, his head will face down and look at the center. I don't get that. Quarterbacks don't develop that habit. You're giving away something that these kids should key off on. Let them know the snap and get a good rush going. Snap, head goes down. Here comes the snap. And again, this kid's hands was like this. He was taught that. That's incorrect. Oh, okay. So, okay, this one hurts. All right. If the quarterback is peeking underneath to take a snap, this is on the coaches 100%. 100%, right? You don't take a kid who's never taken a snap before and just put him up in their center and say, let's see how it goes. You have to teach him at least a couple things on how to take a snap. And this kid clearly doesn't know how to take a snap. Parents, if you see a kid and he's trying to reach and peek and look under the center while he's taking a snap, coaches didn't do their job. Call him out on it. Because he's just leaning over and he's looking right now. And see how he dips down to get it? Because he's trying to guess where to grab the ball wherever the center puts it. This is just terrible technique the whole way through. Of course it's a fumble. Of course it's a fumble. Oh, frustrating. And then another thing, another red flag for the parents out there. If they go right back out, they drop this football and then they go right back out and you see it happening again, they didn't correct it. And either the coaches don't know how to correct it or they don't care. One of the two. Look, he's doing it again. All the bad things, right? It got lucky because he actually got the snap this time. The hands are so far apart. There's no top hand pressure. He's peeking underneath. It's ridiculous. It's just not correct football. Got it that time. Got it to the running back. And watch, this kid probably runs for a touchdown. They think, oh, great play. We don't have to correct anything. You can't go in as coaches. You just can't go in as coaches and be like, this is the playbook I'm going to teach. We're going to run spread, RPOs, and no huddle the whole time. Like, that's just not how it works at youth football. You have to get at least the basic techniques down. And these aren't 6, 7, and 8-year-olds, right? These are some of the older kids here, and they shouldn't have these bad of fundamentals. All right, here we go. A little bit older now, right? This looks like a little bit more towards at least the 12U, maybe even varsity. I'm not exactly sure. Let's take a peek at this guy's hands. Looks like he's got them together. Decent stance. Looks like some top hand pressure is there, right? Maybe could use a little bit more. See, even the older kids, right as soon as that snap starts. And if you're defensive linemen or defensive ends and you can peek at those hands, right as soon as they separate, especially for a nose guard, let's go. It's time to go. Hands up. All right, we got away with it, right? He's probably been doing it for years and no one's corrected him. Let's see this play. Oh, there it goes. So he looks like he's got the groove thing down, but the bad habit he built up was as soon as the snap comes, he opens up his hands, right? And it's a bad habit. You got to break it, quarterbacks. You can't do that. Hands come apart, ball comes out. Dead play. Wasted play. Tragic. All right, we got another one here. This looks like also the older kids. Looks like the quarterback has a little bit wide of a stance here. You might be able to shrink that up a little bit. His hands, he looks like he's closer enough to the center. Top hand pressure looks there. Let's see, does he open his hands too? Let's see. Yep, and he opens his hands a little. Oh, I see. No top hand pressure with this one. You can see right as soon as the ball's about to be snapped, right? Quarterback's not lifting, so the hand comes away from under center, and now we got a fumble. Maybe not a fumble, but maybe just a bobbled snap the whole way through. Let's see if we can see it in slow motion here. Snap. Yep, bobbled it. And not a great handoff. Probably because he's bobbling it and he's just trying to get it to the running back at this point, and he can't place the ball in the pocket like he should, right? Let's see what he does here. Still not a whole lot of top hand pressure. It's like his hands are angled down, right? So that's how you know, like I said, he's got no top hand pressure. That top hand should be flat. It should be lifting. There it goes. His hands separated. The ball shot right into his chest. He'll bobble it. And then he's just pitching like, oh God, just get rid of it. Hot potato, right? Not a good pitch. Probably didn't go well for them. Yep, ball's on the ground, fumble, all those things. All right, more older kids here. Like I said, I wasn't just going to pick it. Like I said, these fundamentals and techniques aren't being taught even at the younger levels, and you're starting to see them at the older levels making the same exact stupid technique errors. Right? This is stuff that's got to be solved day one, guys. Day one stuff. All right. Looks like quarterback. Questionable top hand. I can't really see it from this angle. Yeah, definitely bobbled. Right? We should be able to see at least a little bit of a lift to the center. But it looks like his hands, like I said, just not underneath, not applying top hand pressure. Ball hits the ground. Let's see. Okay. Better angle here. Hands underneath, but no top hand pressure. So you'll watch, as soon as the snap starts to take place, his hands drop, no more pressure. And you could tell a little bit of a struggle holding on to that football. It was good that time, probably got away with it. We'll see. Let's keep watching. Let's see what happens. Snap, bobbled, right? Got it away. Coaches probably think, hey, nothing wrong, right? A little couple bobbled snaps. You know, get the running back a few yards maybe, and everything seems okay, right? Because quarterbacks aren't actually watching for the technique, wondering why is it slow, so slow, the quarterback exchange, and there we go. There's a fumble. Let's watch this. Hands, no top hand pressure here, right? Ball snaps, hits right in the center, can't stick it, ball bounces off the hands, ball's on the ground now. Let's see what happens this time. Wonder if they corrected it. Nope, another bobbled snap. No top hand pressure. Tries to just get rid of it to the fullback dive. Another broken play. Again, doesn't look like they switched any top hand pressure again. Ball's on the ground. And this, what's going to happen is that a lot of coaches, when they see that the under center stuff is just not going well for them, they resort to a shotgun snap. And right when they go to the shotgun snap and say, you know what, since we can't take the snap under center, let's just go to shotgun, right? Because the coaches don't know how to fix the technique. So they'll go to shotgun, and it probably gets worse. Let's see what happens. And they go to shotgun. I've been around the game too long. I've seen this stuff all the time. Here we go. Snap. Ooh, quick snap, too. Let's see it. Not bad. Got to him, right? It works one time. They throw it up. Good catch. Interesting. We got another shotgun snap here. It worked one time. We'll just keep throwing it up, right? We got away with it one time. We didn't have to correct the technique, guys. Shh, don't tell anybody. Snap. Ooh, bad shotgun snap. Hits the ground again. Let's watch this in slow motion here. See what happened with the snap. A little bit of what we call a popcorn snap, right? So the cadence doesn't have a normal rhythm, or at least the kids aren't used to the normal rhythm from the quarterback, and no one knows when to get going on a particular snap count, so they start going at different times. It looks like popcorn going pop, 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 right? And same thing with the center. Center was definitely late on this one, and just, you know, at that point, panic snapped, and it didn't, just end up hitting the ground. All right, let's see. Oh, back under center again. No top hand pressure once more, right? He's so far under center, but he's not actually lifting the center's butt, right? And these are older kids. Don't know how to take a snap. Oh, we're back to shotgun, right? Under center didn't work. Let's go back to shotgun. That'll fix everything. Let's see what happens. Snap, little low. Quarterback has a tough time holding on to it. He's probably just going to throw up a prayer at this point, maybe. Yep, throws up a prayer. Hey, they caught it. Great play, great catch. Let's cut it and throw it on the Instagram highlight reel, right? Ay, ay, ay. All right, some more older kids here. One of these quarterbacks had a little bit of trouble. Still some top hand pressure. Oh, this is a kid that was pointing his hands down. Oh, hands split apart. Right as he was about to take the snap, right? Those hands come apart, and the ball just comes right through, right into the chest. There it is. Ball's on the ground. And this happens so often in the Jamboree. It's so infuriating to watch as a coach, because this is the basic fundamental that needs to be taught, like one of the first, right? If not the first, like one of the first. Maybe besides like a stance, right? Actually getting lined up. This is one of those basic techniques. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was a tough video to do, but I'm calling out the coaches. You have to fix this stuff. There's no excuse, right? We live in the era of YouTube and all these different social media platforms with all these different coaches sharing the basic fundamentals, right? There are videos that cover this technique that are like 12 years old on YouTube, like when YouTube first started, right? So guys, do your homework. Do the basic core techniques and fundamentals first before you start installing that playbook and thinking it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread, that you're going to have this awesome, wonderful season and your quarterback has the strongest arm and you got the biggest and fastest running back and a wide receiver that catches anything. None of that matters if you can't take a snap. You got to cover the basic techniques, right? And if you're one of the younger coaches, or maybe it's your first year coaching, there's still no excuse for you guys, right? USAfootball.com. I'll put links for all different kinds of basic videos for this topic down in the description. You just watch the video. They're not even long. They're like 2 minutes a piece, right? And we're not talking like just people from like me. We're talking people from like IMG Academy are teaching this stuff, right? There's no excuse. The ones that are successful in Jamboree are the ones who have the fundamentals and the techniques down, and then they can really start to grow their playbook at that point. Because if you build the foundation first, you're going to be successful whatever you want to stack on top of that. I don't care if it's spread RPO. I don't care if it's wing T. I don't care if it's wishbone, flex bone, split backs, Maryland eye, whatever you want to do. Like any of those offenses, fine. But if you can't take a snap or do the basic fundamentals and techniques, none of those things are going to work for you. You can rag on the new stuff, you can rag on the old stuff, but none of it matters if you can't even take a snap. Coaches, fix it.